Hey, Composer Gloves here. This is the fourth video in the Harmless from the Ground Up tutorial series. And today I'm going to teach you what the envelope section is in Harmless and what the Pluck does. So let's get right to it. And to do it, I'm going to teach you about Massive. Now I have a whole tutorial series on Massive. Go check it out if you own Massive. If you don't worry. I'm just using it to demonstrate a principle. So they have the envelopes in here, and this particular envelope happens to do the exact same thing that the envelope in Harmless does, and that is this envelope controls the volume. So if I were to play a note in Massive right now, it's pretty short, and you'll notice that it's got this visual representation of an envelope in front of us, and it's got similar knobs: attack, decay. Don't worry, this is not an option in Harmless. It's got an attack, decay, release. And so in our Massive, we're telling the volume to get louder and then to decay, which is the phase right after. So our signal comes in, it reaches our peak volume and decays, and then it sustains out. And it will, if you set our, well, let's play a note. So if we turn our decay up, it's saying take longer to get to that maximum value. And then it decays down, and it actually goes through a loop here after our decay. So if we were to turn our decay all the way up, turn the level all the way up in Massive, but in Harmless, this is the equivalent of turning the level of the decay up. It just stays loud. It doesn't get any softer. Okay, and so now that you kind of understand that controls volume, we can look at Harmless and say, oh, we want our attack to take longer, so you just turn the attack up. And it takes a little bit longer. I'll go do a default patch real quick. Default. And if we take our decay down, it will get softer. And it will actually trigger the release envelope. Once it's reached the end of the decay stage, it'll go to our release. And when we let go of the key, our release stage happens. Or when it reaches the end of the decay. And that, at least that's what happens in the Harmless specifically. And then I let go of the note, and we have a really long decay because our release time is really long. You want to be sensitive about CPU usage here if you don't have a computer that can handle that all that great. Because if you hit like 8 or 9 notes, you're going to start having problems. But anyways, this is also how you make pad sounds, long evolving textures. And if you have a really short decay, as you can see, it just dies right off. So that is the basics of the envelope. And it's called an envelope because in most synthesizers, that's just what it is. It's an envelope. That's the name of the controller signal that tells it how to behave. You have these VLE options. So if you have a keyboard that has velocity sensitivity, the harder you hit the key, the more the envelope will start to affect this. And you can actually turn it on, and you can hear the effect if you turn it all the way on. Just by hitting keys. This keyboard right here is actually velocity sensitive. The further in you hit, the softer it is, the farther out. As you can hear, it takes the attack off. So that's kind of a cool feature. Now this tremolo is that's what the trem stands for, tremolo, and it's in old organs, they used to have these speakers that would spin, and it would create this stereo sound. The volume would sound like it's going on and off, and it would happen really fast. And that was a tremolo effect. In classical music, when you trill between 2 chords really fast, that's also called the tremolo. But if you turn this on, it'll do the stereo. It'll emulate, like in old organs, it'll emulate that effect. And it is a stereo field effect. So it's pretty cool. That's all that does. And now you know about this. And you know about velocity sensitivity. And that could create some really interesting effects. It'd be useful even in the FL Studio's piano roll. And we'll probably mess with that here in a second. And then this last thing is called Pluck. Now this changes. It's essentially a low pass filter, a special kind of low pass filter, a fast one, combined with a decay envelope. So this introduces an envelope and a filter at the same time. And your decay, let's turn our attack up so that it attacks immediately. And you can hear it take its effect. So it's basically taking that harmonic series and cutting it off real fast using a low pass filter. So it's taking the frequencies and turning them down in this direction really fast. And also applying a decay envelope. As you can see, eventually it goes away, implying that there's an envelope there. And there's different ways you can have this affect your sound. So right now we have it affecting it normal. You can have a release setting where when you release the key, it affects your sound and you hear that decay. So you can hear it at the end there. And so that's a really nice feature to have. A really subtle effect. You can have Alt on. What Alt does is the equalizer will now change the timbre of the notes that decay and how fast they decay. Basically, which ones decay first and which ones decay next and how long they take and stuff like that. So right now we have that. If we take our mid-range up, our mid-range takes longer to decay. And we could take our fundamental up. So that's what Alt does. And so this last function we have here is the masked function. And if we turn it on, right now it won't do anything because our harmonic mask is not engaged. So we have to turn the mix on. Now the harmonic mask just got given a different job. So in the last one we talked about how turning them on and off takes out different partials and things. Well, now what this does is it dictates how long each different partial will decay at. So if a partial is all the way up, it'll take a long time to decay according to our Pluck setting. If it's all the way down, it will take a very short time to play, basically regular Pluck setting. Like it'll just go away really fast. So it's no longer shaping content and taking away things. Now it's just taking how long it decays. So with it on, and if we were to change one down and move the other up, now 6 will take longer to decay and 5 will decay much shorter. And if we turn demasked off, the mask will go back to doing its job and you'll get a very different sound. And the Pluck will now just take effect and say all of these harmonics that are coming through at their various velocities or whatever will be low passed at the same rate now. And as you can see, and we can shape our sound like that now. So that is another option we have, and this can also be sent to be velocity sensitive, which could be very cool. And it will change dynamically when we hit things. And yes, so if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Check out my website. I've got free Harmless presets and my music and all sorts of great stuff there. Subscribe if you enjoy these videos, and have a blessed day.